Good evening.
Okay.
מה קרה? אתה נאנח?
No, I have some things to do in Long Island. Whatever, it's not important. But I was thinking what you don't realize, Rabbi Prague, is because you don't follow the important news. The whole night tonight, there's this famous singer who died today in America.
I heard in the, I heard in the news.
I understand. And she was important and very important. It was like, I don't know, I'm looking at it, I'm saying, how much do I have to hear about this person? What? I mean, yes, she was talented, and yes, she donated money, but 50 minutes when the whole world is burning, this is what you're talking about?
No, it shows you באמת שהעקרונות and the values are
I'm
totally,
mixed. I'm
yes,
looking at it and I'm saying, really? Also, if you could just adjust the camera, drop Rabbi Prague,
of course,
please.
of course, of course.
Perfect. Just, I'm listening to it. I'm thinking, I'm like, I live in a parallel universe.
אני מקשיב חדשות פעמיים ביום. אתה יודע, when you have very special news, they have a special, like,
Right, sure.
look, maybe Iran is attacking, maybe America.
Sure.
No, but she died, and everyone, and our dear mayor probably was not born when she was a super.
No, she wasn't.
As what to say also, yes.
Sure, it's very important. This is what I don't know. I don't know. Every day it's another sillier thing. It's just crazy.
בוא נראה פה את המצווה של מעקה, קיטי.
Yep. It's funny, Rabbi Prague, I think last year at this time, because it had to be Kitetse, I could tell you, I remember I was visiting my daughter in California, and there was a shear, and I remember exactly where I was sitting when we had the shear Makkah. And so,
Very, very interesting.
and it's a year goes by, terrifying.
השיעור היה גם כן על מעקה.
No, you said that you talked about it.
או, אתה היית בקליפורניה ודיברנו פה.
כן.
תראה פה דברים מעניינים מאוד, דברים חדשים לגמרי. Give me a second. Give me a second. איזה פרק ואיזה פסוק זה?
I know, I had it before.
רק רגע, אנחנו נמצא את זה עוד רגע.
Yes,
אני מחזיק את התורה התמימה, כל פסוק זה דף. No, if you take the blue one,
so many beautiful mitzvot in this parasha.
it says really beautiful.
Unbelievable. Lo tachbot and
right here. So פרק כ"ב,
right.
בוא נקרא קודם את הפסוקים. כי תבנה בית חדש. אתה מבין ש... every time כשמדברים על בית, what defines a bite? So a bite is a minimum of 4x4 amot, and the height is a minimum of 10 טפחים. This is for sukkah also. עכשיו, כי תבנה בית חדש, לא צריך להיות דווקא בנית אתה בעצמך. The Sifri says, even if you purchased a new house, or someone gave it to you as a gift, how do we know that you have to put a marker? Because in the second half it says, ולא תשים תמים אז תזכור שהפסוק עצמו מדבר, אתה בונה, ולא תשים דמים, אין התלהבות בהרס, fine. עסקי תבנה בית חדש, ועשית מעקה בגדיך, fine. ולא תשים דמים בביתך. If you are not putting a מעקה, so this is already a לא תשים, yes? תשים דמים בביתך, כי ייפול הנופל ממנו. So the Gemara learns, למה כתוב ולא תשים דמים כי ייפול הנופל ממנו? Obviously, if you're telling me כי תבנה בית חדש, עשית מעקה לגגיך, so ולא תשים דמים בביתך, כי ייפול הנופל says, even if you are digging in front of your house, in your property, you have to make a מעקה. זאת אומרת, כל תקלה that potentially, so look a second in the Rambam, in הלכות רוצח, at the end. נזיקין, ספר נזיקין.
We had it this morning, we were in Rotzeh, right?
Right.
11, Perek 11?
כן, בסוף, כן.
But obviously you could do it as a shaliach, right? I mean, obviously you don't have to physically build it, you have to get it done.
נכון מאוד. בסוף הלכות רוצח, look at the Rambam begins פרק י"ב.
Okay.
בהמה חיה עוף. אוקיי, פעם הוא מדבר עכשיו על דברים שהם סכנה.
Right.
עכשיו הוא אומר ככה. For instance, the Rambam says you cannot sell weapons to goyim. The Rambam says you cannot sell anything that potentially they might use. Look now, Salim, look in Perek Yud Aleph from the Rambam Sefer Nezikim Hilchot Rotzach. מצוות עשה לעשות אדם מעקה לגגו, שנאמר ועשית מעקה לגגיך, והוא שיהיה בית דירה. אבל בית האוצרות, if it's a warehouse, בית הבקר, וכיוצא בהם, אינו זקוק לו. דבר פלא. אם אסור לי, if I cannot build any structure that potentially can cause a damage, מה אכפת לי if it's a warehouse? But if the reality is, if the roof does not have a מעקה, it's a סכנה. So if you look at the right away, אבל בית האוצרות ובית הבקר אינו זקוק, look at the רעב"ד on the spot, אמר אברהם, בספרי מרבה את כולם למעקה. בספרי says that even בית האוצרות, בית הבקר, needs a מעקה. ואינו ממעט אלא בית שער. בית שער is a gate. אף אחד לא גר או לא עולה על הגייט, כן? או מרפסת, כן? השאלה היא, האם מרפסת means that a porch like we say or not. We understand the Ravid very well. Rambam is a very difficult Rambam, yes?
Why would you say you understand so what is the Ravid exactly saying?
The Ravid is saying, if I have another pasuk, ולא תשים דמים בביתך, that any potential obstacle in your property that other people might be injured, yes, has to be protected. איך אתה יכול להגיד שומע, אם אני בונה בית and the roof does not have a מעקה, או אסור, חייב מן התורה. If I have the same house, the same size, but I'm using it as a warehouse, אני פטור. למה זה? In a minute when you hear an interesting חזוני, you'll have an interesting answer.
I think though the Rashi on the key Pola Nofel is really interesting too, where Rashi says he wasn't he was supposed to fall anyway. I mean, it's sort of
Okay, so this is, but you realize here Rashi goes into an interesting philosophical case.
right.
I'm asking you a question. If I shoot someone, first degree murder, I aimed and I killed him, then my lawyer would say, well, we believe in God, and if this guy didn't have to die, last year, Rosh Hashanah, God decided he has to die today. The answer is, this is what God decided, but you decided to choose to kill, we kill you. So this is exactly what the Torah says. This is not your business, what would happen to the man.
Right, that's right. So, but again, also, why did the word makeh is only here, no? And it's no, as he says, there's no aim limit, there's no other word for makeh. The makeh is only used here. There's no,
You mean in the Bible? You mean,
yes. Why, why is it? I want,
עוד מעט נראה, טוב, עוד מעט נראה. Go a second to the end of הלכה א', בכל בית שאין בו 400 או 400 פטור מן המעקה. I told you before, שם בית. בית is a minimum 4 by 4, 5.
what? And a sukkah is not considered, I mean, a sukkah is 4 by 4, no?
לא, סוכה איזה בית. סוכה איזה בית, אבל אף אחד לא יכול לטפס על הדם של הסוכה, because if you go to the גג,
So it has to, okay.
you have a gag that you might, now look a second on ב', בית של שני שותפים, חייב במעקה, שלם. Why do I need a pasuk for that? כי תבנה בית חדש.
One person.
תבנה. So why are you חייב? תסתכל ברמב"ם, שנאמר, כי יפול הנופל ממנו.
Wow.
Now, if the Rambam is using this to tell us that שותפים חייבים, why can't the Rambam use the same pasuk of Beit HaOtzarot for a warehouse? This is really what the Rabbit's question is. If you're telling me, the Rambam, that the emphasis is כי יפול הנופל, אם כן, listen to this now, זה נקרא מרב סנהדרין. אם כן, למה נאמר גגך? If you're telling me that even if the house belongs to partners, you are חייב, למעט בתי כנסיות ובתי מדרשות, לפי שאינם עשויים לדירה. This a shul, beautiful structure. You have a roof, a shul, זה שומע טוב, לא נחשב בית דירה. כי תבנה בית מקום שגרים בו. You and a partner חייב. בית השותפים חייב. אז כל אחד שואל, בסדר. עשית מעקה לגגיך, excludes a shul. But if you're telling me that every structure, if I'm digging a pit on my private driveway, I have to put a מעקה, לא רק because the city wants it, it's because לא ייפול הנופל ממנו.
No, because it has to be on a private property of a bayit.
Yes, זה פשוט, yes. Now listen to this now. גובה המעקה אין פחות 10 טפחים. See, this is also halacha that goes consistently. In Shabbat, what is reshut? What makes a reshut? Reshut yachid 4 by 4 when the walls are 10. Yes. מעקה, the minimum מעקה is 10 טפחים. עכשיו תקשיב הלאה. וצריך להיות המחיצה חזקה, כדי שישען האדם עליה ולא תיפול. Yes? If you lean over it, וכל המניח גגו ולא מעקה, ביטל מצוות עשה, ועשית מעקה, והעבר הלא תעשה, שנאמר, ולא תשים דמים בביתך. אין לוקים עליו זה, ילד גדי מלכות, מדוע? מפני שאין בו מעשה. זה נקרא לאו, שאין בו מעשה. אני עובר עליו, אבל לא על ידי שעשיתי משהו נגטיב, לא עשיתי מה שאני צריך לעשות.
Now, what happens, Rabbi Prague? Two questions. What happens if I have a house and there's only one way to get up to that house and there's a door to go to the roof? And I block the door so you can't go on the roof. Do I still have to put a marker?
שאלה יפה מאוד. זאת אומרת, you are the only one that has a key. There's no way to get there.
Or there's a panic bar that if I do go there, an alarm goes off. And one other question, sort of related, in my business, although I didn't buy the building, I own the building, and every one of the buildings has a roof. Am I mechuyav to my tenants to put a marquee on the building?
זו שאלה טובה מאוד. זו שאלה, גם הראשונה טובה, אבל זה יותר טוב.
So let me just double confirm what Larry's asking.
He's asking a simple question. He owns an apartment building in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Is he obligated? Who is the mitzvah of market?
Right. So
on the tenants.
In English law, regardless of whether the person's there by your choice or not, aren't you held liable if someone got to the roof and hurt themselves or something like that because you didn't have the proper fence? I don't know about but I think in English law,
we can't put a fence there because they're always worried about firemen. And I think, and if you think about it, Salim, architecturally, you very rarely can have a flat roof without a parapet wall. So
you have to have some kind of wall anyway, but it doesn't have to be high enough.
I've never seen a building I mean, maybe in a private house, but in the regular apartment buildings, they have what they call parapet walls, and there's no flat roofs that, you could fall off the edge, basically.
Yeah, but how much is enough? So I know exactly what you're talking about. But the roof, the wall is maybe 2-3 feet. It doesn't go up 6 feet, 4 feet.
Does it have to go? Did we say it has to go? The marker has to go?
10 tfachim.
How much is 10
tfachim? Is like a foot and a half or something like that, no?
3 feet.
3 feet?
More or less.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
The parapets are not that short. I mean, 3
The parapet is about 3.5 feet. The parapet.
Something like that. But I'm more interested. I have them, but if I didn't have them, I mechuyav for my tenants to put up a marker, even though they don't go on a roof.
Yes, you are, because you're the landlord, and God forbid something happens.
He's asking you now as an American landlord.
Nah, I know.
He's asking what the Jewish law is.
Torah.
That I have to build a marquee in my house. He's legally the owner of the house.
Right.
The tenants are chayav b'mezuzah. The tenants are chayav be'eruv chatzarot. They make it. He's not obligated to put a mezuzah to.
Yeah, but the roof belongs to him. If something breaks or leaks or whatever, he has to fix it. So it belongs to him technically.
I think Mishu's right. And any type of problem, at the end of the day, he has to fix it. It's not the tenants that have to go up to the roof. But I don't know. The point, I think the point of this law is not because you intend to go up or not intend to go up. It's in the case you ever have to go up and somebody falls off because you didn't put the marquee is the problem. No.
I'll give you another example. You know how people put up, let's put it like in the old days, they put up antennas or they put up wires that went across, and a fireman who comes up to the building in the middle of the night, God forbid there's a fire, they so makpid on it because the fireman could trip on the wires that are on the roof, right, or get their head caught on an antenna. They're very strict about that. So that would be lo tasim damim b'veitech, I think.
Lichora, you are chayav, right? You are chayav. Mezuzah is a chova, the tenant of the house. But Ma'akeh is chova, the owner.
Right.
Now listen now to Halakha Dalet, and listen now to the question I mentioned before. אחד הגג, ואחד כל דבר שיש בו סכנה, וראוי שיקשר בו אדם וימות, כגון שהייתה לו באר או בור בחצרו, have a well with water, without water, בין שיש בה מים, בין שאין בה מים, חייב לעשות לה חוליה גבוהה 10 טפחים, או לעשות לה כיסוי. You see, since he's talking here about a bore, חוליה הכוונה, if you take the soil and you put it around, and it's 10 טפחים, or you cover it. Okay, so now here's the question.
So wait, whoever Prague, suppose in the pasuk that we learned in Shemot, I think, ki yikre ish. So let me ask you, so are you on 2 things?
Right. Over there, the Torah says open, right? So either you put a rail or you cover it. So now here's the famous question. How can the Rambam, how can the Gemara says, a shul is patur. Well, patur. It's not a private house, but it's not less than me having a well unguarded, the shul.
Because it's not one owner.
Okay, you're saying, אל תשכח שכשהגמרא דיברה על זה, זה אפילו if you have one owner.
Okay.
It's a shul. תשמע, בא חזון איש, but your question about a landlord, I like it, because normally the style of the Rambam should be, even if I'm renting it to others, למה לא אמר את זה? He tells me בית השותפים, yes? He tells me warehouse, he tells me a shul.
But they might not have had that, believe it or not, they might have been lucky that there was no idea of apartment houses.
There was for sure, but these kind of things. They talk about it where in a big ballroom and they split up the rooms, a bunch of people in the room.
So Larry, forget your case of an apartment building. You have a one family house that you're renting. Right. There is a roof there. You are renting it to a tenant who is obligated to put the mezuzah, the tenant to you. This is your question.
But on the
that they talk about it that no, it's always the tenant.
אז הגמרא מדברת על other מצוות of the בית, כמו מזוזה, כמו בדיקת חמץ.
Right.
Asking now on מעקה.
But when you say ki yivneh, and I own it, I rent out the house, I would think that, forget the tenant, I'm mechuyav to put that מעקה on.
זה דין בבית, זה מה שאתה אומר. אתה אומר, זה דין בבית. מי שבנה את הבית.
In the same way, Rabbi Prague, if I rent you an apartment in let's put it like this, if I rent my house to you in Long Island and I don't put up a smoke detector or I don't fill out the right forms that I'm renting you an apartment, and because it's happened, and someone gets hurt, you have I mean, it's not a joke. It happened recently.
So Tishma, so Bar Chazon Ish, listen what the Chazon Ish wants to say. He wants to say that, listen carefully, he wants to say that without a pasuk, I would be patur from putting a mezuzah in my house. Why? Because everyone knows, listen carefully what he says now, everyone knows that you don't go up to the roof. It's not really makom sakana. No one goes to the roof. The Torah is not talking about my grandson who is 6 years old and he likes to climb everywhere. This is not the case. He says, believe, the chidush of the Torah is that even though, listen carefully now, even though no one with a right mind will ever go up to a roof unless the roof is protected, the Torah tells you you have to put a marker no matter what. So going back to your question before, you have a lock. No one can get to the roof. According to Chazon Ish, this is the mitzvah. By a house, even without the pasuk, the chances that a real sakana would be around, is very slim. This is the chidush of the Torah.
I'm not understanding. I'm sorry. I didn't understand. I know it's late, but I'm not hopping up what the Chazon Ish says.
מה שהוא אומר? הוא אומר, we cannot ask, our question was, it says, לא תשים דמים בביתך, and if you have a well, an unprotected well, if you have any obstacle, people might be injured, you are obligated to protect it, either with a marquee or in any other way. So how can you tell me that Bet HaKnesset is patur? How can you tell me that the warehouse is patur? The answer is there are places that naturally damage, nezek will never happen. Because people are very careful, women. The Torah chidsha, saying that I have to put a marquee in my house is a chidush.
Ah, okay.
Except if you hear it well, so you understand what he answers. He answers, this chidush is on your house, not at the warehouse. If you're digging a pit on your private sidewalk, but it's accessible to people, if you are digging a well, but and this answers many questions. In a minute you'll see.
But then if you're saying this chap, so why don't you say the pasuk should start off the dip? Lo tasim damim bebeitecha, vasita ma'akeh legagecha.
Yofi. Zeh she'ala tova מאוד, yes. You're saying the order is not the right order.
Right.
Because the biggest chidush should be written at the end, not in the beginning. She'ala tova מאוד. עכשיו תשמע. If you take it this way, the רוב הראשונים are saying, and the Shulchan Aruch is posek, that when you build a marquee, you have to make a bracha. אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו על בניית marquee. Logically, Salim, when should the bracha be recited? When you close the last inch, or the minute you start to erect the marquee? מעניין מאוד. מחלוקת גדולה. Logically, I'm starting now to do a mitzvah. The mitzvah is to build a marquee.
Over l'asiyatan. Okay.
No. It's almost like the sukkah. So the mitzvah is not to build the market. It's for it to be protected.
Salim Omer, if the mitzvah finished product, you can hear very well. It's a machlok tam sofer and others. עכשיו תקשיב.
Wait, Rabbi. When you said the bracha, could you say over the bracha again? So I would say, going back to what you've taught us, that to me is passive. I would say the bracha should be said. Yes, and it's al divrei Torah or
יופי. So באמת, yesterday when I looked into it, I saw באמת מחלוקת ראשונים. Let's see. Look at the Rambam, פרק י"א מהלכות ברכות. י"א מהלכות ברכות. רמב"ם ספר אהבה. This פרק we should really spend maybe a week on it, because there are many. תשמע דבר מעניין מאוד. Look at the הלכה ח' הספר.
In which parak?
פרק י"א. רמב"ם ספר אהבה הלכות ברכות, פרק י"א הלכה ח'. כל מצווה שעשייתה הוא גמר חיובה, מברך עליה בשעת עשייה. בכל מצווה שיש אחר עשייתה ציווי אחר, אינו מברך אלא Again, listen to the examples of the Rambam slow. כיצד? העושה סוכה, או לולב, או שופר או ציצית, או תפילין או מזוזה, אינו מברך אשר קידשנו במצוותיו וציוונו לעשות סוכה לכתוב תפילין. למה? You only have the product. You manufacture the structure of the sukkah. Yes? ואימתי מברך? בשעה שישב בסוכה, או כשינענע הלולב, ישמע קול השופר, יתעטף בציצית. לבישת תפילין, ביאת מזוזה. Here you have our case. אבל אם עשה מזוזה לריב, ברך בשעה, אם עשה מעקה, סורי, אבל אם עשה מעקה, מברך בשעת עשייה, אשר קדישנו במצוותיו וציוונו לעשות מעקה. זה nice. עכשיו תשמע דבר יפה. This Rambam is very consistent. Why?
But I thought that had to be the end of the mitzvah. So why is it?
Wait. So, הוא אומר, אני מתחיל לעשות את המצווה, לא שזה. My mitzvah is ועשית מעקה. The mitzvah is not completed until every inch of the roof is protected. אבל באמת מלשון הרמב"ם אין ראיה. I'm bringing you the ראיה from the לשון לעשות מעקה. Why? The Rambam says, if you hire a mohel to circumcise your son, the bracha is al mitzvat milah. If you have with the mohel, the Rambam says לעשות. It's very nice.
So wait, so I'll ask you again. Look at
an Italian to build the marquee for you, and you are not building it. You will make al marquee.
What about shchita? Because you make the bracha lo lishchot ala shchita because it's not really done until the full animal was slaughtered. Is that possible? Is that the way it's written like that?
יופי, לא. שחיטה זה שאלה טובה ודאי, אבל שחיטה זה שאלה גדולה. Is there really a mitzvah to slaughter? Or the mitzvah is if you decide to eat kosher meat, make sure it's kosher. How is it kosher? By being slaughtering.
Right. So go a step further. What about kisui adam? Is it just when you put on the dam or when the dam is fully put over the dam?
We learned more than once the rule, כל המצוות מברך עליהם עובר לעשייתן right before you do it. להניח תפילין, להתעטף בציצית. So this is the Rambam. Now what happens? Please.
So on your point that the Rambam said, so he's saying the mitzvah is to put up the ma'akeh, but I don't understand. What if there was already a ma'akeh? You don't say any bracha?
No.
Isn't that the mitzvah? The mitzvah is to have the ma'akeh, not to put up the ma'akeh.
Larry just argued, but the Torah says v'asita. The mitzvah is written b'lashon v'asita.
See, but what Salim is asking is, do you have to put up, or do you have to physically pleat up, or do you have to make sure that it is up?
Since the lashon is v'asita, I'll bring you a good raya, Salim. You're moving to a new house, okay?
Everybody has mezuzot, right?
Exactly. You know the guy and the mezuzot are perfect. Are you making a bracha? The answer is no, even though from as far as mitzvah mezuzah, the mitzvah is yours now. The tenant, the minute he leaves the house doesn't belong to him. Believe it or not, okay, this is a different topic. Rabbi Akiva Eger wanted to say that you have to make a bracha. But Rabbi Akiva Eger says the mitzvah of mezuzah begins now to you. He says,
but it doesn't say to put a mezuzah. It says you should write a mezuzah.
Good. Says Rabbi Akiva Eger, this is what I thought. תשמע מה שהוא אומר. אחר כך מצאתי בספר ברכי יוסף. ברכי יוסף is 150 years before him. So this is a Rav Chida. Since the language of the bracha of mezuzah is likpoa mezuzah, likboa means to place
it up yourself.
Exactly. עכשיו השאלה היא כזאת.
Can you take it down and put it back up just for the bracha?
Okay, so this is what some people would do. If you take it off more than 24 hours, you're asking now a general question. You gave them a zuzah to be checked.
The check is a different problem. Check is like it's always there, but here you just moved in.
Believe it or not, they say only if they give it back to you within 24 hours. If somehow the sofer has to somehow misplace it, this, that, you have to make a bracha. Same as Bekalet. What happened if the Italian builder built for you the fence as a
Right.
comes למחנה אפרים, one of the גאוני הגאונים of the ספרדים, תשמע מה שהוא אומר דבר יפה. Logically, you should not make the bracha. אין שליחות לגוי, you understand?
Right. Okay.
So, הוא אומר דבר מאוד יפה. כתוב בגמרא ובמציע concept, יד פועל כיד בעל הבית. You hear? It's not he's my shliach.
He's a worker.
A worker is you. אתה שומע טוב. Shaliach means, I see Salim, do me a favor. I have a housing deal, I have to put a mezuzah, here is a mezuzah, put it for me.
Right.
Mitzvah is mine. Here, he says
So-
the worker is not a shaliach, you're giving him power to do it for you. He counts as you.
So let me ask you a better question from a different question from last week's Parsha. Can I have a worker that's a guy? Can I be late in paying him?
שאלה טובה מאוד.
Lo talin pulat zachir. It doesn't say he could be if he's not my shaliach and he's a worker, he's the same thing, almost like a Jewish person.
To be honest, this we have to look at the Rambam in Chod Zchir.
Why does the pasuk have Pulat Zchir being a Jew?
It doesn't.
לא כתוב יהודי, הוא שואל, לא כתוב על יהודי, but of course normally you would say it's only for...
Why only for a Jew?
I'll explain to you why. אם אתה רוצה באמת תשובה, why? Because if you look in the Gemara, Metzia, at the beginning of Perek Chamishi, the Gemara says that if you are not paying your worker on time, Gemara called it's a sniff of lo tigzol. אתה שומע? So
against Goyim.
right now, you have $1,000 that belongs to someone. You should really give it to him. You keep it. By a goy, there is also איסור לא תגזול. אתה מבין? אם יש איזה שורש ולא תגזול, זה שהיה, בלי נדר, אני אסתכל מחר עם רמב"ם או שולחן ערוך, לכל שכירות פועלים. עכשיו, תשמע דבר יפה. comes לחיי אדם, he has a big סימן, סימן כ"א, big סימן, many rules of ברכות. So he says, אמת לשולחן ערוך and the Rambam tell me to make a bracha on the ma'akeh. It's only if you put a ma'akeh on your gag. תשמע טוב. But if you are putting a fence, a rail around your bowl, don't make a bracha. Why? From where do you learn that you have to put it on? from לא תשים דמים בביתך. הוא אומר, אין ברכות לא תעשה. You are beautiful. Every bracha is אשר קידישנו במצוותיו וציוונו, correct?
It's low. You don't make it in a low tasa. Whoa.
ככה הוא אומר. אז הוא אומר, רק if you are putting a mezuzah.
So
why can't you say this pasuk is lav nitak ne'aseh?
לא, נכון, אבל...
No, I'm saying in general, when you return a stolen object, you don't say a bracha.
נכון, אבל מה מחייב אותך? What makes you חייב to put a rail around your...
Because it's danger. That's what it is.
Yeah, but why are you saying
one thing has nothing to
that?
One thing is nothing. You're returning an object is one thing, and putting somebody's life in danger is something else.
But it's called. We are the text of the bracha is always following the text of the obligation.
Okay, so I'll ask you, Rabbi Prague. Suppose we didn't have a seatbelt law in America. Forget it.
Good.
And you had a seatbelt in your car, and you're driving, and or the Rebbitzin's driving as she does, and is she mechuyevet to tell you to put on a seatbelt because lo tasim damim beveitecha?
Yeah. The question is, who is the car registered on, Rabbi?
I know, but it's almost like it's not a bayit, but it's an extension of a bayit.
You're 100% right. You were saying, if I'm taking a passenger and I know that the seatbelt is broken and you are a lot of symptoms.
Oh, right. That's a great example.
This
Wow.
is what you wanted to say, because what's the difference if I'm digging a hole in my sidewalk, or I'm taking you as a passenger, and there's no.
So I'll ask you better. So when the Rebbitzin goes on the Garden State and the speed limit's 55, is she allowed to go 70?
Larry.
No, I mean, because you're making yourself subject to getting in an accident.
Okay, but you realize
I don't know. So
I know you're not going to like that, Salim, but
If that's the
Because-
case, you can't do anything.
no, not because of that. It's because the boar, it's shchiach that someone's going to get hurt because people don't see the boar. But a seatbelt, the odds you're going to get in an accident that the seatbelt is going to be the reason is very low. Same thing with the car and they're going 70. It's still low.
Difference
Going
is,
110 maybe.
Salim, the difference is, statistically, you know that there's no difference between 65 and 70, but the law is a law, and they had to stop at a certain point. Okay?
Right.
65, they wouldn't stop it to 70, but if you're 73, if the cop, it's the end of the month, and the cop has to show that he did a job, I'll give you a ticket.
Right.
But here, Tishma, so it comes out about מאוד יפה. Ein bracha al isur, but again, Miko, your question is correct, but what makes me chayav in putting the rail around the board?
It's what is written in the Torah. The Torah says to make put the around your roof. That's it.
is the seatbelt on the Chefsa or the Gavra?
Sorry to interrupt, Larry. It's no different than Hashem telling you to put on tefillin. Okay, we put on tefillin. It's the same.
Larry,
okay, it's not.
Larry, you're turning Torah into a safety manual, basically. Seriously speaking, I mean, the Torah, if it wanted to exclude your apartment building, there would be some Gemara on it. The Larry's apartment
They
building.
didn't build buildings that tall in those days.
Whoever is really asking is a question that the Abarbanel, you hear asking on the Rambam. Some Rishonim are saying that all the non-kosher animals are really not healthy. They are predators, they are eating garbage, this, that. Says the Abarbanel, so what the Torah is a health book? But Dr. Hashem is giving me a list. A deer and a cow are good. A pig and a buffalo is not good. This is a lot of Torah. This is what.
But also we have the concept.
Buffalo is good, Rabbi. Bison, it's very good, very tasty.
Good. But we do a Siyagla Torah. There's a gotta, Lifnim Mishuras Hadin. I don't know.
I'll tell you why. One of the Rishonim, believe it or not, the Sefer Yereim in England 700 years ago, he says there's no bracha on Ma'akeh. Listen what he says. How come there is no bracha? Okay, we spoke many times about that, many answers. How come there's no bracha on Kibud Abayim? How come there's no bracha on Tzedakah? How come? So one of the famous answers, I saw it originally in Sefer Aruch HaShulchan, which is a contemporary, but
you told me this, I think I know what you're going to say.
Any mitzvah that you do, and you do as a regular human being, it's accepted universally that we have to honor our parents. It's accepted universally that we have to support the poor and the needy. It's clearly that putting the black box here is the command of Hashem. Put a mezuzah on the door. To take the four species here, he says, I don't need the command of Hashem to tell me that if you have a dangerous structure, hiding, you have to protect it. ככה הוא אומר.
Yeah, but then you can ask the thing when you have it in. So why do they put Ve'areta Elohecha Lefnei Ver Lo Titei Mechsho? I mean, you know.
אז באמת, there's no time to look, but if you look at the Rashi there, Rashi says, לפני עיוור לא תיתן מכשול really means עיוור בדעת. You give
Right.
the wrong advice.
Right.
Descartes, the Menchat Chinuch himself, has a sapek.
Wow.
If you put a banana peel in front of a blind man, it's not true. You're a Minat Torah. You are Rasha Merusha, of course. But the love himself, it's exactly for the logic that you said before. Bezat Hashem will continue to work. Let me ask you a question. You look at me good now. Look at my parent. Salim, look. Larry, look. Miko, look. You see anything on my parent?
The same thing you always have in your fire, wines, like everybody has. No?
No,
There's a tiny scratch, I think. I'm not sure, but the light is on top of it.
I went in the morning to a doctor in Lakewood, a very good skin doctor, because I have very fair skin. As a kid, I was exposed to the sun many times. Okay, so from every year you go once to a skin doctor, they do this. A month ago, he told us, and my daughter-in-law walked his office, said it's a great idea. Okay, they put a special light on you. I have to sit 17 and a half minutes, but it's really painful. So they smeared me with a lot of. So my forehead is smeared now with it. You don't see it. Right?
Oh, it's a little lighter if you mention it, but no, shine.
No, nafkamina.
You can't tell. Can't tell.
Maybe it's real simicha, Rabbi. What's the big deal?
Kamina is. Morning, my tefillin is in Sharet Zion. So I was a wise guy, and I said, I'm going to my shiur, I'm going to wipe it. I wiped it. And in the middle of my class, I felt that my forehead is burning. She told me, listen, she told me for 40 hours, you have to be smeared with the good skin, not the chemical sunscreen. You have to do it with the zinc, the one with the vitamins, this. Anyway, I came home right away. I smelled
So isn't that a concept of Rav HaMashuach?
That's what Jeffrey was saying.
There should be a bigger story, Rabbi Prague, no?
I didn't even know, but מה שאני לא אוהב זה שתומור יש שערי ציון every other people really sincere, are you okay? You know, something on your part of this. Maybe I'll pray in the room.
But I couldn't tell for sure.
Pray where you always pray. Don't
What?
change. Don't change.
Exactly. Don't be embarrassed. There's nothing to be ashamed of.
No, I like to feel that they still have some.
Rabbi Prague, I get a haircut. You look at what? So.
Rabbi, it's also Wednesday. There's not as many people in Sharet Zion in the summer. Tuesday, they all sleep in Monday. They go home tonight.
Wednesday, Thursday for sure. There's nobody there.
Oh, wow.
Would have been a very good day because Monday we had 16 people. But okay. Anyway, I'm taking your advice tomorrow, and anyone that says anything, I say please call them. I'll give tomorrow a few phone numbers.
Call Salim. Salim is smart. I'll call Salim.
They can call me. I'm going to be the Brit Milah anyway.
All right.
Thank you.
2 days ago, our nephew came with his 2 kids. My wife was very happy. This is her brothers. So she says to him, what are you doing here? You live in the 5 towns. He said his wife gave a kidney a half a year ago. His wife is a mother of 4 kids. She's 34, and she didn't want really to face the recipient. But they told her, listen, it's good for him. The guy is 77 years old. So he told me he came with his wife and his 4 kids. Can you imagine? This old man came with his kids. How emotional this was. He says he understood why they insisted you have to come. You have to come, you have to make him feel good, and your wife should see, look, he's a man, he's a Zaidi, he's a good man. I thought about you, Jeffrey, man.
Sure. It's unbelievable.
How much chesed. Really, so much
Such a
chesed.
chesed. Wow.
Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem. Okay, Laila Tov,
Laila Tov, everybody. Only good news.
It is red tomorrow. Remember, just remember, have a good excuse. If you
I won't say a word.
if you need a note from the doctor, I'll get
Just have a Laila Tov.
it.
Laila Tov, everybody. Good night.
Laila Tov.
Tov Salim,
Bye-bye.
Jeffrey. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.